Oh boy, we're back, guys. We're back. Let me check. Is this thing showing up on Twitter? Share live. Share from. All right, guys. We're here. We're here. We're here. Oh man, apologize for the delay, peeps. Apologize for the delay. Last minute client call. Apparently, it was scheduled on the calendar, but didn't show up. And guys, I love you. I love you, but I gotta take care of my clients. I gotta take care of my clients. So let's jump in. So we got today a Soave, otherwise known as flat Prosecco. You know why I call it flat Prosecco? It's because this comes from fair Verona, where we lay our scene. This is the same grapes as Prosecco. Okay, it's just not sparkling. Now, of course, I'm being unfair to Soave, although Soave had a pretty bad reputation for a while. It was considered to be pretty crap quality, so they tried to level it up a bit. Put up a bunch of controls. One of the problems, guys, with wines in Italy, there's a wine there called the grape there called Trebbiano. Okay, Trebbiano is perfectly quaffable, as we'd say. Okay, you can drink it. You can drink Trebbiano. It's a chilled Trebbiano will do the trick, but it's often very flat. It has no real flavor profile. It's just like a cheap grape. It's a cheap grape. It's used for mass production grapes because it produces high yields. Okay, this is something to remember. There is a direct correlation between grapes that produce high quality wine and grapes that produce high yields. Indirect correlation, right? So some grapes are really good at growing all over the place, and they suck to make wine out of, unless you're trying to make a little very, very basic, simple wine. The more a grape has to struggle, the more its flavor is enhanced, basically. So this is one of the reasons why grapes tend to grow in areas that we would consider somewhat marginal, kind of poor soil. You can get really good grapes, really good wine out of grapes from poor soil. And so some grapes are more finicky, and they often have much better flavor profiles. Now, I'm not going to say this is black and white, right? There are some varietals that produce some pretty good yields and also really good flavors, but this is a generally true statement, okay? So Soave had some issues. So one of the things they did is they required that 70% minimum of this is Garganega, which is the primary grape that you would use for Prosecco and stuff, and to not use only 30% Trebbiano. So I don't know the proportions of this. This is I don't think this is like a particularly special brand. It's a DOC, not a DOCG. DOCG is a little step higher. Anyway. It's fine. It's fine. Maybe there's a bit more Trebbiano in this. Let's see here. For you guys who like to get them. I don't think this one was very pricey. I didn't check, guys, because I'm in a rush. I want to get to these dating questions. A lot of lemons in this. Some lychee fruit, maybe. Am I a tool if I say lychee fruit? If I say this wine has lychee fruit in it, am I a tool? What does that mean? What's good? It is a scorcher, man. It's hot. It's hot. And if it's hot up in Boston, it's bad because South Jersey gets pretty hot summers in general. Anyway, guys, all right, last order of business before I get into these questions. Some of you guys sent me questions today. I appreciate it. Crazy day today, okay? Crazy day. And I already had tons of questions from the last Q&A I didn't get to. So there are no new questions on this list. We're going to get to all the new ones. That's why I didn't ask for DMs, because I already had a ton of questions. So all the questions you guys asked me today, one of you guys sent a longer one. I'm probably going to write about that. The other ones are going to come to the next dating relationship Q&A. But we already got a ton of questions here. So let's get into it. What are the consequences of what you recently said about a natural hierarchy to man for dating relationships? Do you think the best marriages are in the same class, materially and spiritually? Well, first off, you are going to almost naturally date in the same class. It's very rare to have relationships outside of the same class. Um, which is why, while I talk about how it's important to marry an intelligent woman, I don't usually consider it to be a massive thing to worry about, because you're likely going to be finding women of comparable intelligence in your intelligence bracket. So some things happen somewhat naturally. Now, there is some crossover. You can certainly see situations where you might be dating a girl from one class beneath you, right? Or maybe one class above you in some rare cases. But to answer the question directly, like, yeah, I definitely think that there is a natural hierarchy. Something I'm going to be talking a lot more about is the role of energy and vibration in relationships and dating, and how it affects everything. It affects everything. It's been stuff I've been thinking about for a while, and is now really coming to a real crystallization. Um, the best marriages are usually going to be in a higher class of individuals. Um, Now, I'm going to make an exception here and point out that there are a lot of people in like the far elite who do not marry for love. They marry as a way to arrange assets for their global conquest. um, Maybe not quite that extreme in most of the cases, but they marry within a class to preserve assets, and they cheat on each other. And when they don't divorce, they separate, and then they have separate relationships on the side. I've seen this a lot. So when you have an arrangement that's entirely dictated based on money, uh, yeah, that's not gonna end very well. I found that a lot of the healthier relationships tend to happen in sort of the low rich, upper middle class. Like, you have to have a certain baseline of financial security. Um, when there's not a lot of financial security, the relationships tend to be people tend to stay together based on fear. I think that you can credit a lot of divorces to, I hate to say this, and as a manosphere, I hate to say it, but a lot of women divorcing, it wasn't initially that big wave of divorces in the 60s. It wasn't due to necessarily just like the propaganda. That was still quite young. It was almost like a lot of women were very unhappy, and this gave them an opportunity to leave unhappy relationships. Now, obviously, I think today you see the rot of that in a much more acute way, where you don't have a lot of self-awareness on the part of women who are doing these different things. But um, I guess the point I'm trying to make is that, like, a lot of people stay together in lower classes just through the economic situation, or at least they did. Now with social welfare programs, it's maybe a little bit less likely to happen. But I mean, I think that the question here is a little bit more esoteric. I feel like I'm getting a little bit too logical on it. I've tackled the material thing. I do think spiritually, the higher vibration you are, let's put it this way, the higher vibration you are, the better the relationship. There's no question about it, because you're projecting less. You have more awareness. You can actually, and the love starts to become more and more unconditional for each other. You start to accept each other. You can communicate better with each other about your needs. They can hold space for you. Um, I had to be honest with you guys. A lot of the things I talk about, this is one of the issues that the red pill guys, they don't really like fuck with me anymore, which is good, because it was kind of getting boring. I think 2 years was enough. But it's like, a lot of the things I've admitted this. A lot of the things you can ask a question on here. I'll get to it probably later though. A lot of the things that I teach guys are designed to move guys up into higher states of vibration and to date women at higher states of vibration. Like, I don't try to teach guys how to date low vibration women and game them. I don't do that. I think it's a waste of time. It's not my calling. People want to waste their time. People want to fuck around. Hey, look, if people want to fuck around, it's not my problem. If you guys, not you guys, I know you guys don't want to, but if people want to waste their lives trying to date like dumb, broken women, it's not my problem. I'm not gonna like tell them. I got a DM the other day. How do I fuck my mother-in-law? It's like serious question. It's like what the fuck is wrong with these people? I mean, honestly, what the fuck is wrong with these people? It's not my job to deal with that. The kind of relationships I talk about, I try to move guys up in a vibrational level and to date women that are at a higher vibrational level. And so, because those are the relationships that are most meaningful. And so, to a certain vibration, a lower vibration, that stuff would be very dangerous to do because pieces wouldn't have been put in place. I'm going to talk a lot more about this later on. Okay, next question. What are some things you can forgive in a relationship? Just had my boyfriend. This is a chick question. Girl question. We got a girl question here. Just had my boyfriend, after a night of drinking, go off on me about anything and everything. He yelled at me while I said nothing and cried out of shock and hurt. It came out of nowhere. He has apologized profusely and recognizes what he has done and that he could lose me. I left a marriage with someone with a horrible temper who yelled at me and would go off at me all the time. I truly believe my boyfriend was different. What should you forgive and how should you move forward? How can you tell if they are really contrite? I guess a more concise way to ask this is, what do we do with these red flags? We were told to identify them, but then what? Do we just throw people away and move on? Oh man, this is such a good question. Not even necessarily because of the question, but because there's a piece here that she's not seen. I get to drop some truth bombs here. Okay, first off, I agree with her. She should not tolerate abuse, right? She should not allow. She should not be with a guy who's going to treat her like crap and is going to just throw bullshit at her. All right, but let's ask why not only why he erupted like this in anger, but why did this happen to her ex-husband? What it seems like to me, this is my guess, what it seems like to me is that she's attracting guys that don't express their needs in relationships and that they feel uncomfortable expressing their needs to her. Okay, I'm not really getting from what she's telling me here that this is a bad guy. I'm not getting that this is a bad guy. What I'm getting is that this is a guy who is not getting what he wants out of the relationship, but probably because she's like a good girl. She probably like checks a lot of the boxes on the surface. And sorry, let me be a little bit kinder here because I don't think that that's doing her justice. She's just very much in the Madonna archetype, probably, in that there are a lot of desires and things that this guy has that he doesn't even feel like he can express, because if he expresses them, then he feels like you're going to shame him for it. And so I would really get to talk to him about what was going on there, what was behind that, what was behind the anger. Because thinking that this guy is just like bad because he had an angry outburst after drinking, that he was different. I'm sorry, but this is one of the things that women don't get good advice. Like, this is to discard a guy for expressing his emotions. This is how you recreate a bad cycle. And this is the thing. It's like, oh, he got upset. Now, I can't believe I was with this guy. He's so bad. I don't want to be with him anymore. It's like, well, he just started to show you a little bit of himself. Maybe it was a dark part of himself, but he just started to show it. And your initial impulse is to say, hey, like, we need to move on. Like, I can't believe these guys are like this. How did this happen again? There needs to be a little bit more ownership about the fact that, yeah, he has some insecurities. He's been hurt a lot. So that's good. That's good. Like, and get into that, because then once he can start to express that to you, then you guys can really form an amazing connection. Okay. I can't even tell you, I have said some, and my wife has said it to me too. I mean, and there's more. I mean, I'm not going to go into all of it here, but my wife and I have, like, we fought. I mean, we are not a low conflict relationship. Our issue was never that we didn't communicate. We just communicated a little unhealthily, because I'm not the kind of person who's going to just sit there and take a lot of crap. I'll speak my mind, but there was still a lot of stuff that I was repressing, a lot of needs I was repressing. And it really took us to like communicate how we felt in the start to fight in a little bit more of a healthy way. But the first step to a lot of this stuff was the anger. The anger wasn't bad. The anger wasn't bad. Yes, exactly. Look at this. I hope you guys are reading what Jen's putting here, because this is the girl, the girl who submitted this question. This is how you guys get together. So don't be afraid of fights, right? Don't be afraid of fights. Don't be afraid. Lean into them. I really lean into a fight. Find out what's actually going on beneath the fight. Don't shy away from it, or you'll just repeat the pattern. All right, let me see here. We got a lot of questions on this thing here. But I mean, I don't want to. All right, just want to make sure I get to everything on this list before I get to the ones here. But let's go. Okay. How do you even talk to new girls, let alone meet them during the lockdown? There seems no opportunity. Well, look, guys, I've said this before. You can definitely meet girls during the lockdown. All right. They are online. I'm not huge on online dating. I'm not anti-online dating. It's not my thing. It's not my only thing, let's say. I don't recommend guys exclusively do online dating. But you can meet girls online. I mean, check out the guide I put. You saw what some guy followed what I put on that, which, by the way, I think it's one of my best blog posts, especially when it comes to practical advice. Because sometimes, I talk very much meta and deep stuff, and I do give practical stuff, but like this is a really detailed guide. So check it out and follow that stuff. But look, you can meet them online. You can cold approach them. But guys, this is it's fundamentally a period for reflection. All right. So with the guys I'm working with, I'm doing a lot of deep work with clients, and we're setting stuff up to use a lot of our time together next year when stuff's back rolling again. So it's a good time to start doing the work, but I would not necessarily be, let's just say patience. Okay. Let's just say patience. There's a season for everything. And this is a season for digestion. We're digesting a lot of stuff. My ex got a new boyfriend, but is now coming to my gym to work out when she never used to come before. She literally drives all the way across town when she could go to her gym right by her house. My friend says she wants my attention. My thoughts is she wants your attention. She misses you, man. She's not happy in her new relationship. It's a branch swing. She left, or you broke up with her. I don't know. Ended up with another guy. This other guy isn't really doing it for her. So she's keeping his security, trying to get your attention back. Maybe testing the waters, right? Best way to do it is to tease her. I would literally make fun of her for stalking you. Unless you don't want anything else to do with her. Then, ignore her completely and be very cold to her. But if you want to hook up with her again or whatever, tease her. Make fun of her for stalking you. All right. Let's go next here. Recently, a couple of my friends in the same friend group went through their own individual breakups, one guy, one girl. Just a day or two later, the girl confides in me that she has feelings for this guy, and 2 weeks later, they announce they are dating, and she asked for my thoughts and support. At first, I didn't really care and said something along the lines of, I can't control your feelings, so do whatever. But also tried to explain that if/when something goes sour in their relationship, it will fracture the friend group. They don't care because they're all in love and shit, and I feel like I should have been more clear that, one, they both just went through breakups and aren't in the right state of mind to start a relationship as previously close friends, and two, this isn't an episode of Friends where people in the same close friend group can just start dating with no negative effects in the long run. Am I overanalyzing this whole thing, or should I have been more stern in telling them the harsh reality and negative effects of their relationship? No, you are not overanalyzing the whole thing, and no, you should not have been more stern in telling them the harsh reality and negative effects of the relationship. It's not your fucking place. They're going to do what they're going to do. Okay. They got together probably. Look, it's possible that they just happened to break up at the same time and then happened to decide they wanted to be together. more likely they've been flirting with each other for a while behind the scenes, and that there's been a lot of clandestine communication, and they both broke out with their respective people and then tried to make it appear this way, like it was just happened, so that it wouldn't cause a huge scandal, right? So that it would be, oh, it seems so much more natural. Not that they had been kind of, and look, probably, I mean, probably not the best thing. Who knows? I mean, I don't know the dynamics of them. If they've been really close friends for years, then maybe they should be dating each other. Maybe they should be dating each other. I mean, if they've been close friends for years and they're attracted to each other, like, whatever. But if they want to fuck things up, I mean, you telling them, you being harsh with them, is only going to affect their relationship towards you. It will change zero in what they decide to do. Zero. You can say, "Are you sure it's a good idea?" So, well, I hope you guys are making a good decision because, we have a really good, you can make some little things here. You can be a little bit of like, a little concerned. I just want to make sure that you guys, it seems pretty fast. Just want to make sure you guys know what you're doing. You can say that, but I mean, it's not your place. And this is a really important lesson. You just gotta let people make their own mistakes. Like, one of the big problems I had for a long time was trying to save people. And I touched on this already. People who are like going after shitty women, doing stupid things. Like, I don't care. I don't care. People have their own path in life. I am here to help people who want to choose a different path. If they want to go down that, they know where to find me. They can work with me. They can message me. But look, I mean, I know tons and tons of people who are making bad decisions. And I might make a comment, but I'm not going to tell them to not do it. It's not my place to do that. It's not my place to save people. Everyone has their own mission here. So let them do it. You make more. I mean, don't depend on them for your friends, right? That the big lesson is make other friends. I can taste the Trebbiano in this because there's a little bit of flatness. There's a little bit of flatness. It's not bad. That's just nothing special, right? It's well made though. It's pretty well made. Okay. I've noticed during my salsa classes that girls have varying approaches when it comes to eye contact. Some may totally avoid it, while others may may even start a staring contest with you. Is it possible to distinguish which girl is interested in you in this way, or is their ability to maintain eye contact just a result of their shyness levels? Okay, let me read this again. During salsa classes, that girls have varying approaches when it comes to eye contact. Some may totally avoid it, while others might even sort of staring contest, blah, blah. Okay, so Nick Sparks had 3 different criteria when you walked into a bar, determining which girls were good to go. Okay, so eye contact is always the biggest sign. Eye contact is always the biggest sign that a girl is down. Now, maybe she's not down. Maybe she's going to put up defense mechanisms when you approach her. I've had this happen to a guy. One of my former clients. I remember one of his stories when he saw this girl giving him eye contact. When he approached her, she was really cold, and so then he bailed out of the set because she was kind of making it difficult for him. And then later on the night, she was like staring at him again, like just would not stop staring at him. And so he caught her before the end of closing and got her number. Women will usually do that because they're too afraid. They give eye contact. They're like a deer in headlights. But then when you go and actually approach, they get a bit nervous. So they might act cold to protect themselves. But the eyes don't lie. I mean, you're looking at somebody either because you're interested in them, like from a physical standpoint, you're attracted to them, or there's something really strange about them. There's something about them that's really like interesting. And it may not be necessarily romantic, but that there's just something about that person that you're really curious about, and you want to look at them because of the way that they are, the way they dress. Now, even if it is the latter, you're still getting attention, which you can transmute, guys, by the way, is the idea of peacocking. The reason that peacocking became a big thing is because, well, you get attention, you can use attention in your favor, even if it wasn't initially sexual. Okay, but so the point here, some may totally avoid it. The ones that avoid it, girls that avoid eye contact with you, it's not to say that you can't do anything with them, but girls that avoid eye contact are going to be harder sets to open because they're not open for connection at the moment. Now, what I find is a good idea is to make a comment to them and then give them some space and then maybe make another comment later on. So you're basically being friendly to them, but you're not trying to dominate their space. You're not overwhelming them. And that way they get used to you. And then they're more likely throughout the course of the time that you're at the lessons and in the future, they're more likely to open up, which is one of the reasons why I know we're talking about salsa class here, but it's one of the reasons why to extrapolate with like night game, where if you go out and you start throwing words and start just like another Nick Sparksism, which guys, I mean, as I've mentioned, he taught me night game. Okay. So my night game it's got me, right? But it's predominantly based on Nick Sparks stuff, which is why I recommend his book, As You Are, because it works and it's really authentic. It's a really high vibration form of night game. You're really just getting in touch with your feeling and the vibration between you and the girl. You can use it anywhere though. You can take the principles and distill it for anything else. So eye contact, if they can't maintain eye contact, it could be shyness or it could be just a real desire not to talk. But by just probing a little bit, making offhand comments, you can start to rope them in. And then a lot of girls will get more friendly and then you're in, right? You got to coax them, right? It's like an animal. You're trying to like give them a little bit of food. Like you put like a piece of popcorn there and the rabbit comes towards it. I don't know if rabbits eat popcorn, but insert some animal. They come closer and then you put one a little bit closer to you and you just keep doing that. Lure them in. And then they're in your trap. Then you trap them. And you put them in a box. Just joking. You don't do that to a girl. All right. Next question. Hey, Pat. I got a question for the Periscope. So I've been with my girlfriend a few months now, and the other night we were drinking with some friends. When we got home, she started crying at one point. It started off with happy crying, saying how much she loves me, but then she pivoted to how she had been hurt in the past, a high school boyfriend I don't know or care to know much about. I asked her about this the next morning, and she just said she gets emotional when drunk. I get that, and I'm not too bothered by it anymore, especially since it was just a quick moment, but I was wondering if there will ever be a time I should talk more deeply about her being hurt or just move on. She is a fantastic girlfriend and is very in touch with herself and her emotions. Good question. Well, I think that there is an opportunity to talk to her about it. There's no question there's an opportunity to talk to her about it. You can definitely dig a little bit deeper into this and use it to connect with her on a deeper level. Just be aware that if she's managing this trauma pretty well on her own, you don't want to try to force the issue. Okay? Like I would really mention it in a very casual way. Like maybe you guys are having a great dinner together and it's the vibe's right and you're out and you mention, hey, you mentioned before about this, like, this ex and how he hurt you, like what really happened with that? And then you create the space for her to share and you can be there for her. Right. And maybe you don't, maybe not at a restaurant. I mean, it depends on the girl. I probably would do it at a restaurant, but because I think they're good for intimate conversation. It's kind of weird. I almost think going out in public is sometimes better for intimate conversation, but maybe that's because I'm extroverted. I don't know. But you can bring it up then and you can have this intimate talk and you can really feel more bonded and connected to, and you can have great, really passionate sex that night. But what you want to make sure about is that you keep this sort of energy of like, it's your stuff. Like, you don't need to know this because now if she was doing things, if she was like giving you all sorts of crap because of a trauma from an ex that she wasn't dealing with, then you'd have every right to like pry and say, look, I'm tired of your shit. You got to deal with this. What the fuck happened? Because you're throwing it all on me. But if she's not doing that, there's no need to be aggressive about it. But I think it is an opportunity for deeper intimacy to share it. She becomes more yours the more she shares about herself. Starting to play the social media game more to try to meet women. How should one balance the fine line of following, liking posts, and commenting without coming off like you're looking like you're on the prowl? Well, context as always. What kind of posts? What kind of posts are we talking about here? It's a good question, though. It's a really good question. Normally, the thing is that to throw a like or comment here and there, definitely not regularly. You definitely don't want to be liking every single one of her posts. You want to make it something that just happens every like randomly. And then usually after you do that once or twice, to leverage it into like a conversation. So the comment is going to be something that you can parlay into something that has you meet up. The idea of liking something, and if a girl has a million likes, she may not even notice this stuff. So be judicious in that case. Maybe you want to comment when you like, so that you make sure you get the attention. You get her attention. But the thing here is like, the idea of a like is to just let her know you exist. To try to like reinforce some kind of connection. You don't want to just like throw them out all over the place. It's a good question. It's a good question, and I think a lot of it really has to do with context. I can tell you one thing. I don't know if this is the girl does this kind of stuff, but don't like her like post where she's showing off her ass or something like that. Don't ever give her compliments on social media. I really can't emphasize this enough. I'm not anti-complimenting girls, okay? I'm not anti-complimenting girls. I'm anti-simping. Do not compliment thirst pics on social media. Do not talk about how, beautiful she looks. If you're interested in the girl, do not do that at all. That's not how you get her on a date. You make some other comment. Make some other comment about the nature of the dress, about where she is in the picture, right? Something that's going to give you a context to talk about. Oh, you're south of France. Like, I was there last year. Did you check out this place? Moves it into the DMs. You might even just like it and then send her a DM directly after that on Instagram. This is to give you an idea about how this stuff works. Everything is about, like, it should be very casual, right? Oh, you're in this place. I was just there. If you need any restaurant recommendations, let me know. Helps, as always, to not be a boring person. Make sure the more things you do, the more you're able to connect with people. The more you're able to... I mean, I can't tell you how many people I can connect with because I read and learn random stuff. Like, I'm telling you a story here. This is like obliquely related. I just want to like go on a little tangent here. Okay. I was able to connect so well with people in Poland, like including me and my wife, because I was so well understood about history and geography and things, and that I could talk about stuff that was going on. Now, not to say that you use that kind of stuff as like to create attraction. I was doing all sorts of other game stuff that was making me attractive, but I throw out some kind of comments. Like, I looked like this kind of like, oh, just party guy, want to drink, do shots. But then I'd be asking questions about like Polish history, and I'd be asking questions about some of the things that were going on in the political situation. And they showed a lot of awareness. And people were like I know more about Poland than most of the Polish people I know, which was a huge source of connection because it welcomes me into their group. It doesn't matter what class I'm in with somebody. I can ask good questions at the very least if I can't share my own experience because I'm interested. I'm interested in things. So I can emphasize anything to you guys. It's like, be curious, be interesting, because you never know when it'll be like the thing that gets you in the door with a girl or with anybody, because you can talk about things with them. You know what's going on with them. You know their life from what you've read. You can actually connect with them. They feel like they can maybe relate to you. It's so important. All right, next question. We'll do a little thing here. First, we'll check this stuff here. The guide is the online dating guide is on my Twitter. How to date online today, 7 rules. Favorite place to meet girls during quarantine was local hiking trail. Girls were always nice there. That's great. Just you gotta watch out at night, right? Can't sneak up can't sneak up on them at night, or can you? I'm just joking. What is your idea about approaching people in company you work with and may have online calls with right now? I think generally it's be very cautious. Be very cautious about people at work. Obviously, romances are going to happen. Obvious with men and women in proximity, it's going to happen. But I think going out of your way to try to pick up girls at work who are not showing you strong signals is very bad. Very, very bad. Workplace is the one place where I recommend that guys be cautious. Really make sure she sends you signals before you make any moves. If she sends you signals, go ahead. All right. You can move forward with it, just being aware of the political dynamics at the company and how it might affect your career, the cost benefits, take all that stuff into consideration. But that's another good point. Don't start things with the girl that your boss is attracted to. You say that as if it's happened to you. A man speaking from experience. That's what I see. Yeah, Alex, that is the sprinkler in the background. It's a pretty good beat though, isn't it? I'm sorry if it's annoying, but I turn off the fountain. But this is my, dad's watering the lawn. What am I supposed to do? He's watering the lawn. All right. Even periscope question. Even women who seem to be close friends are often competing for men. Are they doing it because they like men? Or are they doing it because they like the man, or because they can't stand losing to their friends in the battle for his attention? I'm sorry. I'm going to repeat this. I'm messing up the pronouns here. Even women who seem to be close friends are often competing for men. Are they doing it because they like the man, or because they can't stand losing to their friends in the battle for his attention? As a man, how do I tell the difference and take advantage of this? Well, low vibration women will compete for a man for the sake of beating another girl for him, right? That's envy, right? It's a low vibration emotion. If your way of trying to get a girl, or if a girl's way of trying to get you, she doesn't actually care about you, she just wants to take from somebody else, then she's a piece of shit. I mean, so I would not go after that girl anyway, just as a general caveat, I suppose is the word I'm looking for. But the point here is that, yeah, this happens on low vibration levels, and it's one of the reasons like a lot of girls have a hard time with friends, because especially back in high school and to a lesser extent college. And by the way, people tend to be lower vibration when they're younger. Okay, it's one of the things when someone's an old soul. An old soul is somebody who's higher vibration, doesn't fit in with the vibrational apparatus of that area. So kids are generally going through pockets of lower vibration. So yeah, I mean you're gonna get a lot of that when the girls are younger, and plenty of women do it when they're older too, especially if they don't have a lot else going for them. They get jealous. Now, of course, it goes without saying, if a girl, if a guy has other girls interested in him, other girls are going to be interested in him. Okay? Because everybody has the shiny object syndrome. Oh, all these other people like him. Well, this girl likes him. This girl likes him. Well, maybe I should like him. So there is a sort of unconscious aspect here where they start to compete for something that they don't even necessarily know what they're competing for. I mean, maybe you're attractive, right? But at a certain point, they're going for it just because it's the prize that everybody's determined is the prize. Whereas once they get it, they may not even want it. So I would pay attention to the girl who really likes you, right? I mean, you can use it to hook up with all these different girls. You can do it. And I'm not judging, man. I'm really not judging. There is, you can do this in a way that's not unethical. You just be the cool guy, very casual, laid back. You hook up with one girl, you tell her you don't want anything serious. You hook up with her friend, blah, blah, blah. You can kind of make all the women look like fools. I kind of think it's funny. Just do it right. But if you're looking for something a little bit more serious, understand that very often a girl who, if like a hot girl jumps on after like a pretty girl who's her friend was interested, it can very often be malicious and it's not about you. And be very cautious about taking that girl because she may not, maybe she hooks up with you, maybe she doesn't. But you can ruin things with a girl who actually liked you genuinely for a bitch, right? You supported the bitch. So be cautious about it. Be cautious about the game. I would really I think the point here is the girls that play games, make them into fools or don't deal with them at all, right? So, so yeah. To play the game, you got to play it right. It's exactly right. It's exactly right. Um, Personally, I know guys have done it, and I think it's great. I think it's fun, whatever. Personally, I have such a strong bullshit detector. Even when I was younger, and I had tons and tons of crap that I was still sorting out. Anyway, I'm not done. There's still things I have to deal with, right? But when I was younger, I mean, I had so much anxiety, right? I couldn't go to parties. I'd have like panic attacks. If I didn't know the people, I'd have panic attacks. Which, of course, is like now, it's like hard to even imagine it for me. Losing my voice. So, yes, a strange game. Sometimes the only winning move is not to play. But even when I was younger, I would like the attention from these different girls, but I could really sense what was genuine and what wasn't. And if it wasn't genuine, it wasn't really that much of a turn on at the end of the day. Not to say that I didn't hook up with some of the girls who it wasn't genuine, but I regretted it. Like I really regretted it. And frankly, guys, sometimes I couldn't perform because I was so out of it. I was so out of it. Um, so I'm gonna move to the next question. I'm gonna finish the list of questions and then I'll get to the last ones that you guys are posting. All right. Does your level of vibration affect your pheromones? That is a really good question, and I have no idea. I have no idea. Pheromones are legit. I'm not certain to what extent they affect only sexual attraction versus other things. I can tell you, I know that the reason that people get together, like on higher levels, there's deeper kind of soul related stuff connected to that. I'm going to write about this in a bit, but they are drawn to each other for reasons that there's physical attraction, but there's like a deeper kind of thing going on. I don't know to what extent pheromones reflect that, or if pheromones are different and more better associated with like a lust. I really don't know that answer. I think it's a good one. I think that I would love to test it. I would love to test it out. I wonder if there is a way that if we can see what kind of pheromones one person would be drawn to, and if we could compare that to people who have like healthy, deep connection relationships, and to see if there's an overlap with that. I don't know the answer to that though. It's definitely true though that pheromones. Yeah, I would totally buy that it would affect itself in your pheromones. Um, I don't know the answer though. It's a good question. Figure it out. Figure it out. All right, next last one on the list. Every woman, even women who seem to be close friends are often competing for men. Are they doing this because they like the man or because? Oh wait, I just read this one. All right, well I have no more on the list because I just apparently wrote the same one down twice. So let's see what you guys got here in the comments. Yep, attraction is externalized to some degree in the social landscape. Yes, it is. Attraction is based on pre-selection. It's based on the environmental context. You can't fully remove it from that. Um, there are deeper things going on a personality standpoint and maybe persona as well, but the environment affects so much. It affects so much. Met a girl on a night out last year. Amazing connection. Unfortunately, a boyfriend. Kept in touch on Insta. She's recently single. She always messages first. We trade a few messages, but then crickets. She's looking for attention right now. I'm not saying you can't parlay it, but I would be very casual and invite her out to some spontaneous stuff. You know, really be uh, like if she's. I assume she's in the same location as you, and to just to throw out just kind of like casual date stuff with her. Like have you been in this place? Heading out this week? What like you should come, right? That kind of stuff because she's playing coy at the moment. She's definitely attention farming. She's out of a breakup. She likes the attention. I would not put your eggs in the basket. The connection could have been much bigger for you than for her. Also, being out, night out, alcohol, you might feel more connected there. A lot of numbers that you meet out at a bar, you might feel a really strong thing. It's completely situational. And for the girl, she can let herself go, especially if she has a boyfriend. She knows she has this barrier. She can't go forward with it. Not saying that there's nothing there. I'm just saying don't put the eggs in the basket. Keep dating other girls in the meantime. And post cool stuff on Instagram. That's going to be the biggest way to get her to come out, frankly. It's the social proof will push her over the edge. I have not seen War Games. I don't know what it's about. It sounds like it's about maybe dating. I used to do war games in college, though, by the way. That was the stuff I was trained to do. I was trained to be a national security. I told you guys this before. I was trained basically to go into intelligence, to get involved in like CIA and stuff. I was at a CIA recruiting thing. Didn't do it. Didn't do it. Oh, I guess you wouldn't know if I did do it. But I didn't do it. Um, but yeah, I used to rehearse war games a lot. Like what would happen if there was some thing happening in Central Asia and they fought over the water in the Fernana Valley, that kind of stuff. Any advice for men that prefers to join a couple? Uh, oh, like as a unicorn? I don't have any advice for that. I don't have any advice for that, but um, I mean, I would imagine that the guy has got. I don't have any advice for that. I haven't done it. I would imagine the guy has. I mean, usually the way it works with threesomes is you got to befriend the same sex person, right? So in a threesome with two girls, it's best to have the girls like each other. In a threesome, I presume with guys, the guys should like each other. The only real threesomes I've known about though, with like two guys and a girl, it's usually like guy friends. With a rando girl, it's not usually in a relationship. So I don't really know how to advise you on that. I'm sure there's other coaches who can do this stuff. All right, I got to go real fast, guys, because I got dinner. I got the knock. Can you talk a bit about honing intuition about girls in terms of approaching I don't know how to explain it. I'm sorry, Sean. I don't know how to explain it, especially not in this short amount of time that I have here. Just kind of the way that they dress, the kind of way that they are. You're more drawn to them. I think you have to look at your unconscious. If you're more drawn to them, then that's a sign that if you're trying to convince yourself, oh, she looks pretty, but you don't feel anything, then don't do it. But if you look at her and there's something about her, like you feel an emotion immediately inside of yourself, then I would do it. Tips for good gift giving in relationships: make sure they come from the heart, unless you're dealing with like a status oriented girl, in which case doesn't fucking matter because she just wants money. But if it comes from the heart, it's going to make an impression with any sort of like decent girl you want to be with. Co-ed volleyball team with cute girl. How to know if she's interested with you? We hang out outside. I mean, eye contact, guys. Eye contact. There's a lot of stuff I've written about. Check the blog. There's a lot of things about approaching girls and knowing what's going on. If she's giving you eye contact and she's trying to talk to you, I mean, there's something there. Okay, all right. Oh, maybe I think. Oh, wait, I think I have watched War Games. It's like Tom Cruise, isn't it? All right, guys. I love you. I'll see you next time.